this cost of goods sold by using the formula cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. The other formula is cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. How do we get gross profit? By taking only the direct expenses. Then what about indirect expenses? So that we will take under profit and loss account. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear students, today we are going to discuss your first PUC Accountancy syllabus. From that, the chapter is Chapter 8, Financial Statements 1. And today we are in the third session. So, already we have discussed few of the concepts in your previous sessions. That is in session 1 and session 2. So, let us quickly recall what we have discussed in your previous session. So, in a previous session, I have covered this topic. So, we were discussing about the income statement. So, under income statement, so the whole income statement has been divided into two parts, trading account and profit and loss account. So, the main intention of preparing trading account is to know the gross profit or gross loss of the business, and profit and loss account is prepared in order to know the net profit as well as net loss of the business. So, let us see what we have discussed in your trading account. So, we have discussed about meaning of trading account. So, what is this trading account? It is an account which is prepared in order to know the gross profit or gross loss of the business by taking all the direct expenses and your opening stock as well as sales. So, that is your meaning of trading account. Need and importance of trading account, format of trading account. So, what is the format of trading account? So, we'll start with to opening stock, to purchases, to all direct expenses, and in the credit side by sales less returns by closing stock. So, you have to balance both the side, and the balancing figure will be either gross profit or gross loss of the business. Next, we have learned about problems on trading account, a very important question for 6 marks, that is a problem on trading account where they will ask us to prepare trading account and find out the gross profit or gross loss of the business. So, these are the few concepts what we have discussed in our previous session. In today's session, we shall continue with the next part of your income statement, that is profit and loss account. So, let us see what is this profit and loss account. Before that, we shall see a 6 marks problem or 6 marks question on computation of cost of goods sold. So, in the previous class itself, I have told you a very important question for 6 marks. Either they will ask you trading account, and most of the time they have asked is calculation of cost of goods sold for 6 marks. So, let us see the problem here. Compute cost of goods sold for the year 2017. So, if you know how to prepare your trading account, then it is very easy to solve or to find out what is the cost of goods sold. So, your other formula for cost of goods sold will be, so cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. So, this will be the formula to find out cost of goods sold. Suppose if you know how to prepare your trading account, so you can easily calculate this cost of goods sold by using the formula cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. So, this will be the formula. Now, let us see a problem. Other than that, you have one more method to calculate cost of goods sold. So, let us see both the methods also. So, compute cost of goods sold for the year 2017. So, we have sales, they have given purchases 1,50,000, wages 10,000, stock on 1/4/2016, which means what? This is opening stock. Next, we have stock on 31st/3/2017, that is closing stock. And they have given carriage inward, that is a direct expense. So, let us see how to solve the problem. So, this is the other way, but it is a quite lengthy method where first you have to prepare your trading account by using the information what they have given. Then you have to apply the formula. But there is a direct method where you can easily solve or easily calculate cost of goods sold. Now go through the solution. So the formula to find out cost of goods sold, other than the formula what I have told you already. So cost of goods sold is equal to gross profit, or sales minus gross profit. That is the formula. The other formula is cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So this is the best method to calculate cost of goods sold, or else that is a method where it is quite lengthy because first you have to prepare your trading account, then apply the formula. So this would be better. Okay, so go through here. So first we shall take this opening stock. So opening stock, so how much it is? 30,000. Then add purchases. So according to the formula, add purchases. So purchases is 1,50,000. Then add all the direct expenses. So what are the direct expenses they have given in the question? That is, wages is a direct expenses, carriage inward is a direct expense. So 1,50,000 plus 10,000. So that is 1,50,000 here, that is direct expenses, wages, that is 10,000, and carriage inward is also 10,000. So wages is 10,000, carriage inward is 10,000. Then, so when you add all these, so opening stock, add purchases, add direct expenses, so you will get 2 lakh. So 1,50,000 plus 30 is 1,80,000 plus 10,000, 1,90,000 plus 10,000, 2 lakh. Then less closing stock. So less closing stock, this is closing stock, that is 40,000. So 2 lakh minus 40,000, 1,60,000 is a cost of goods sold. Suppose if you use the formula, cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. So first what you have to find out, you have to prepare your trading account. So trading account. So here randomly I'll solve this problem. So in the debit side, what do we record? This is debit and this is credit side. So in the debit side, you will start with opening stock, that is 30,000. Then you will write purchases. So purchases is 1,50,000. Then to all direct expenses. So we have wages 10,000, carriage inwards 10,000. So to opening stock, to purchases, to all direct expenses. Credit side we have sales. So sales they have given, that is 2 lakh. So we don't have returns. So directly we can write sales. Then closing stock. So closing stock is 40,000. So if you balance both the side, here it is 2,40,000. 2,40,000 minus 3 lakh. So minus 30,000. So you have to calculate the gross profit. So 2,40,000 minus 30,000 minus 1,50,000 minus 20,000. So you will get 40,000 is what? Gross profit. So 40,000 is gross profit. So according to this formula, sales minus gross profit. So how much is sales? So sales is 2 lakh minus gross profit is 40,000. So cost of goods sold is equal to 1,60,000. So same answer if you will get if you apply this formula also, but this is a quite lengthy method where you have to prepare your trading account first, then so that you will find out the gross profit. So sales minus gross profit will be your cost of goods sold. Okay, so other than this method, this would be the better method where cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So you'll get the same answer. So hope you are clear about the problem, and a very important problem for 6 marks. So from this chapter, so you will get a 6 marks problem. So most of the time they have asked you preparation of trading account and find out the gross profit, or calculation of cost of goods sold. Now moving on to the next problem. So similar type where you have to compute cost of goods sold. So compute cost of goods sold for the year 2016-17 with the help of the following information. So they have given opening stock. So this is opening stock and this is closing stock, and purchases during the year, sales during the year, and wages. So let us solve the problem here. So you know the formula, cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So particulars and amount. So first we shall start with opening stock. Opening stock. So how much is opening stock? 3 lakh. Rupees 3 lakh. Add purchases. Add purchases. Purchases during the year is 15 lakh. Add direct expenses. So here we have only one direct expense, that is wages. Wages is 1,20,000. So opening stock 3 lakh, add purchases 15 lakh, add 1,20,000 wages minus, so how much you'll get if you add all these? Opening stock, add purchases, add direct expenses. So 3 lakh, here 15 lakh plus 3 lakh 18 lakh plus 1,20,000, 19,20,000. So let's check whether it is correct. 15 lakh plus 3 lakh 18 lakh plus 1,20,000, 19,20,000 less closing stock. Less closing stock. So closing stock during the year is 4 lakh. So your cost of goods sold will be cost of goods sold. That is opening stock, add purchases, add direct expenses minus closing stock. It will be 15,20,000. So this is cost of goods sold. So very simple problem for 6 marks. So hope you have understood this problem. Moving on to the next problem of similar type, compute cost of goods sold for the year 2019. Hope everybody knows how to calculate. So they have given sales, purchases, wages, and this is opening stock and this is closing stock. Okay, so let's solve. Cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So we shall start with opening stock. Opening stock amount is 1,50,000. Add purchases. So purchases is 7,50,000. Add direct expenses. So under direct expenses, we have one direct expense, that is wages. So wages is 50,000. So overall it is 7,50,000 plus 1,50,000, that is 8,50,000, 9,50,000. So let's see whether it is correct. 7,50,000 plus 50, 8 lakh, 8 lakh plus 1,50,000, 9,50,000 minus closing stock. Minus closing stock. So closing stock is 2 lakh. So total it is 7,50,000. So this is what? Cost of goods sold. Now let's recheck the answer whether it is correct. So we shall prepare your trading account. Trading account. So we shall start with opening stock 1,50,000. Purchases 7,50,000. Direct expenses 50,000. Then sales. Sales, here they have given 10 lakh. Sales 10 lakh. Closing stock 2 lakh. Closing stock we have 2 lakh. So overall or total both the side is how much? 12 lakh. But the debit side is less. So 12 lakh minus 1,50,000 plus 7,50,000, that is 8 lakh, 9 lakh, 9,50,000. So 12 lakh minus 9,50,000. So how much it is? So we shall calculate once again. So 12 lakh. So 12 lakh 12 lakh minus 1,50,000 minus 7,50,000 minus 50,000. So your answer is 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 is a gross profit. So what is the formula? Cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. So that is sales is 10 lakh minus gross profit is 2,50,000. So it will be 7,50,000. So both the answers are same. So 7,50,000 if you apply that formula, or if you solve by this way also, it is one and the same, 7,50,000. So hope you are clear about cost of goods sold, a very easy problem for 6 marks. Next part of your income statement is profit and loss account. So let us see what is this profit and loss account. So trading account only discloses the gross profit earned as a result of buying and selling of goods. So how do we get gross profit? By taking only the direct expenses. Then what about indirect expenses? So that we will take under profit and loss account. So by taking only the direct expenses, we will get only gross profit or gross loss of the business. However, a businessman has to incur a number of expenses. So I've already told you, we are going to take into consideration only the direct expenses under trading account, but there are so many expenses that takes place in the organization, like office and administration expenses, selling and distribution expenses. So this cannot be recorded in your trading account. So there are number of expenses which are not taken under trading account, because under trading account only the direct expenses is taken into consideration, that is directly involved in manufacturing a particular product. Only those expenses will be taken. Hence, a businessman is more interested in knowing net profit earned or net loss incurred during the year. So, in order to get the net profit or net loss of the business, we have to take all the expenses of the organization. As a result, a profit and loss account is prepared which contains all the items of losses and gains pertaining to the accounting period. So, what is the necessity to prepare profit and loss account? In your trading account, there is a limitation that we are going to take only the direct expenses. But other than direct expenses, there are expenses like office and administration expenses, selling and distribution expenses. Those are not taken into consideration. So that we are not getting the net profit or net loss of the business. For that reason, we are preparing profit and loss account where all the indirect expenses and indirect incomes are taken into consideration. So let us see a definition here. According to Professor Carter, a profit and loss account is an account in which all the gains and losses are collected in order to ascertain the excess of gains over the losses or vice versa. So in order to know the net profit or net loss of the organization, so we have to prepare a statement or we have to prepare an account which is called as what? Profit and loss account. So hope you are clear about profit and loss account. So what you have to remember here? Under profit and loss account, all the indirect expenses and indirect income are taken into consideration in order to know the net profit or net loss of the business. If the income is more than expenses, then it is net profit. If the expenses are more than income, then it is net loss of the business. So, hope you are clear about the meaning of profit and loss account. Now let us see what is the need and importance of profit and loss account. So the first one is to ascertain the net profit or net loss. So already I have told you the main intention of preparing profit and loss account is to know the net profit or net loss of the business. And the second one is comparison with previous year's profit. Of course, in order to make or in order to improve in the business organization, if we know the exact net profit or net loss of the business, comparison can also be made and an effective measure can also be taken in order to improve the profitability of the organization. So, comparison becomes easy. Then control on expenses. So, if you record all the expenses in detail, so we can control those expenses. So, to the minimum, we can reduce those expenses. And the next one is helpful in preparation of balance sheet. Of course, if you know the exact net profit or net loss of the business, this helps in, or this net profit or net loss will be carried forward to the balance sheet. So, in the preparation of balance sheet, it is 100% we require this net profit or net loss of the business. So, hope you are clear about need and importance of profit and loss account. Now let us see the format of profit and loss account. So easy to remember. Under trading account, you will record all the direct expenses. Other than direct expenses, all the other expenses comes under profit and loss account, like office and administration expenses, selling and distribution expenses. So you know what are the direct expenses? The expenses that takes place in the factory or while importing the raw materials. So all are termed as direct expenses. Other than direct expenses, like outside the manufacturing unit, so what are the expenses takes place? They are all termed as indirect expenses. So your format is same because profit and loss account is one account where it has been divided into two parts. So first part will be trading account and the next part will be profit and loss account. So your profit and loss account can be only prepared with the balancing figure of your trading account, that is gross profit or gross loss. So go through here. So in the debit side we have expenses or losses, amount, and then the credit side revenue or gain, amount. So you will start with your, I have told you, you will start your profit and loss account with gross loss or gross profit. So this has to be taken first. So either it will be gross profit or gross loss. So it has to be carried down. Then in the debit side, you will write all the indirect expenses. So you have office and administration expenses. Under office and administration expenses, you have salaries, rent and taxes, office lighting and heating, insurance, printing and stationery, postage, general expenses, telephone charges, audit fees, legal charges, bank charges. Then you have maintenance expenses also, where you have repairs, depreciation, selling and distribution expenses. So what are the expenses involved in selling and distribution of a particular product? So where you have advertisement, traveling expenses, carriage outwards, that is while exporting the finished goods, commission paid, bad debts. Then you have financial expenses also, where you have discount allowed, interest on loan taken, interest on capital. So these are the indirect expenses. Coming to your indirect income, so we have indirect incomes like rent received, discount received, commission received, bad debts recovered, interest received. So all these are what? This is indirect incomes. So other than whatever the expenses that takes place in the factory, all other expenses like office and distribution expenses, selling and distribution expenses, office and administration expenses, and then your financial cost, all are termed as what? Indirect expenses and indirect incomes. Okay. So then you will balance both the sides. So balancing figure will be what? So your balancing figure will be either net profit or net loss of the organization. Okay, so you will balance both the sides. So your balancing figure, whatever you get, so that will be net profit or net loss of the business. So hope you are clear about the format of profit and loss account. Now we shall see a few of the problems relating to profit and loss account. So they might ask you for 6 marks, but most of the time they have asked for 6 marks trading account and calculation of cost of goods sold. But for the safer side, we shall learn how to calculate this net profit or net loss by preparing the profit and loss account. So go through this preparation of profit and loss account. So it's a 6 marks problem. So prepare profit and loss account of RAM for the year ending 31st/3/2023. Now, whatever they have given, these are all indirect expenses and incomes. So here itself, we shall segregate them, whether you have to record in the debit side or credit side. Now, gross profit. So, you will start your gross profit from the credit side. So, how do you write? By gross profit carried down. Rent and taxes, it is an expense, debit. Printing stationery, it is an expense, debit side. Office, printing, debit side. General expenses, debit side. Next, we have salaries. So, it is an expense, debit side. Insurance premium, debit side. Advertisement is an expense, debit side. Depreciation of fixed asset, debit side. Discount received, it is an indirect income, credit side. So, we have only 2 items in the credit side. So, let us see the solution here. So, we'll write the heading profit and loss account for the year ending 31st/3/2023. So what is the format? You have debit and credit side. Under debit side, you have expenses or losses amount, and in the credit side, income or gain amount. So we shall write what are the items to be recorded in the credit side: gross profit and discount received. So gross profit is 1,20,000 and discount received is 200. So we are done with the credit side. Remaining all the expenses comes in the debit side. So we shall start with, normally when you start your profit and loss account, we will start with 2 salaries. Then you will record all the indirect expenses. So we shall write 2 salaries first, that is 20,000. Then we shall go through the order. Rent and rates 8,000, then 2 insurance premium 2,000, printing and stationery 600, advertisement 1,400, office lighting 1,000, depreciation 1,000, general expenses 600. So these are the indirect expenses. Now if you balance both the side, if you see your credit side, it is 1,20,000 plus 200. So it is 1,20,200, but in the debit side it is less. So how much you will get in the debit side? So here 28,000, 30,000, 30,000 plus here 2,000, 30,000, 32,000, 34,000, 34,600. So 34,600, 1,20,200 minus 34,600. So how much will get? 85,600. Yes, correct. So this will be the net profit. So how did you get net profit? 1,20,000 minus all these expenses. So you will get net profit. Why it is net profit? Because your income or revenue or gain side is more than your expenses. So I'll write to net profit. So it will be transferred to where? Balance sheet. So while preparing the balance sheet, you will continue with your net profit. So this is how you have to prepare a profit and loss account. Very simple question for 6 marks. Now one more problem we shall solve here. Prepare profit and loss account of Ramesh for the year ending 31st/3/2023. Now let us see where we have to take here itself so that it will be easy for us to record in our profit and loss account. So first we have gross profit. You will record in the credit side. Rent and rates, that is taxes, debit side. Insurance, debit side. Bad debts, debit side. Audit fees in the debit side. Next, salaries in the debit side. Printing and stationery expense, debit side. Depreciation, debit side. Discount received, credit side. Rent received, credit side. Okay, so we shall solve here now. So this is a format, profit and loss account for the year ending 31st/3/2023. So we shall write the name of the person, that is Ramesh. So we are going to prepare in the books of Ramesh. Okay, so we shall start with the credit side. So we'll start with the gross profit. So by gross profit, carried down. So how much it is? 1,30,000. Gross profit carried down 1,30,000, and in the credit side we have only 2. So let us write first. So by discount received, and the amount is 4,500. Next we have by rent received 1,500. By rent received 1,500. Now we shall start with your debit side with 2 salaries. So 2 salaries. So how much is salary? 45,000. Next we shall go from this order. So rent and taxes 3,000. 2 rent and taxes 3,000. Next we have 2 insurance, that is 1,000. 2 insurance 1,000. Next 2 bad debts 1,500. 2 bad debts 1,500. Next 2 audit fees 400. 2 audit fees 400. So next we have printing and stationery 5,000. So 2 printing and stationery 5,000. Next, to depreciation on fixed asset 6,000. To depreciation on fixed asset, that is to depreciation on fixed asset, that is 6,000. So we are done with this. So how many expenses are there? 1, 2, 3 and here 4, 5, 6 and 7. So let us see whether we have recorded everything. Yes, 7 we have recorded. Now we have to balance. So how to balance? 1,30,000, here 1,34,500 plus 1,500. 1,34,500, 1,35,000, 1,36,000. So let us see. 1,30,000 plus 4,500 plus 1,500. So it is 1,36,000. So total of credit side is 1,36,000 minus all these, minus 45,000 minus 3,000 minus 1,000. So 1,36,000 minus 45,000 minus 3,000 minus 1,000 minus 1,500 minus 400 minus 5,000 minus 6,000. So you will get a net profit of 74,100. So once again we shall recheck. So 45,000 plus 4,000 plus 1,500 plus 400 plus, here it is 11,000 plus 74,100. So total it is 1,36,000. So our net profit is correct. So how do you write the balancing figure? To net profit carried down, and this is a balancing figure which has to be transferred to where? Which has to be transferred to balance sheet. So hope you are clear about this problem, 6 marks problem. So you can go through this. Now coming to the next problem. So prepare profit and loss account of Ramesh for the year ending 31st-3/2023. So we have gross profit 8,000 and we have general expenses. So here itself we shall segregate them into debit as well as credit side. So gross profit we have to record in the credit side, general expenses debit side, repairs and renewals debit side, audit fees debit side, depreciation debit side, rent received, it is an income, so credit side, bad debts recovered, so this is in the credit side. So bad debts recovered, if you see the format here, so where do we record bad debts recovered? Yes, in the credit side. So bad debts recovered, credit side. Salaries, it is an expense debit side. Discount allowed is an expense debit side. Advertisement debit side. Okay, so we shall solve the problem. So profit and loss account for the year ending 31st-3/2023. So here also they have given the name of the person Ramesh. Okay, so we shall start with gross profit. So by gross profit carried down. And the amount is 8,000. Amount is 8,000. Next we shall record what are the items to be recorded in the credit side. So by rent received, and the amount is 64,000. And then we have by bad debts recovered 3,000. By bad debts recovered 3,000. And then we have only 3 items. Now coming to your debit side, so we shall start with your salaries. So salaries is 12,000. So 2 salaries, 12,000. Then we shall start from here to general expenses 2,000. To general expenses 2,000. Next we have to repairs and renewals 1,000. To repairs and renewals 1,000. And next to audit fees 1000. To audit fees 1000. Then to depreciation 6000. To depreciation 6000. Then rent received is done, bad debts recovered done, salary is done, discount allowed 2000. To discount allowed, that is 2000. To advertisement 4000. To advertisement 4000. So all the expenses are done. So let's see once again. So how many expenses are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7. So let's see whether we have recorded. Yes, we have recorded. Now what is the total? 64,000 plus 3. 64 plus 3, 67,000. 67,000 plus 8,000. So here 64, 74, 75,000. So the total is 75,000. Minus, we have to deduct all these. So 75,000 minus here it is 14, 15, 16, minus 16, 22, 24, 24 plus 4, that is 28. So 75,000 minus 28,000. So your balancing figure should be 47,000. Let's recheck once again. 47,000. So 12,000 plus 2,000 plus 2,000 plus 8,000 plus 4,000 plus 47,000. 40,000 plus 7,000. So yes, total is 75,000. So what is the balancing figure you got? To net profit carried down, and this is balancing figure. So let's see whether it is correct. Yes, so 47,000 is a net profit what you have to carry down for your balance sheet. So hope you are clear about this problem, a simple problem for 6 marks. You can go through the problem here. So in my next session, we shall discuss about the balance sheet. Okay, so we are done with the income statement where we have learnt about preparation of trading account. So then we have learnt how to calculate cost of goods sold. So what is the formula? That is sales minus gross profit, or cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. Next we have learnt about profit and loss account. In the next class or in the next session, we shall discuss about the balance sheet. We shall see what is the meaning of balance sheet, what is the definition of balance sheet, need and importance of preparing a balance sheet, and we shall solve few of the problems relating to balance sheet. And one more last concept you have, that is calculation of operating profit. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. See you all in my next session with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you.